Howdy everyone, I'm home. And so as I promised, sorry it's a little bit too much cleavage. So I wanted to share with you guys about a dream I had. So this was about Atlantis. And call it a regression, call it a past life memory. So there was like this bridge from Hollow Earth to this other place in the Hollow Earth. And basically, this was like a lotus as I remember it. And then there was a courtyard. And then there was like a castle temple or some sort. Like a huge castle temple. And then there was this obelisk at the top of it, or dome, if you may. And what's quite fascinating is if you were to flip this upside down, there was a tree. Like, let's say if this was the tree of life, and all the roots. And this is like of the hollow, which was everything beneath. That's how I saw everything, because what happened in the dream was it's kind of funky. Let's say, sorry if that's too dark. Let's say this was me. I was dancing, right? Hey. And I guess there was some type of irrigation system that was broken, cracked, and water started filling up. So a lot of people had to flee from this inner Agartha at that time. And they were forced to go into this area. Let's say this was like the water. I hope this makes any sense. And then there I am, woohoo, at this territory I don't even know. And this had this irrigation system called a pyramid, or I don't know how. It was when hydrogen and HO2 mixed, and it created heat. So it was boiling everything from, let's say, this was water, and then this was hydrogen. I don't know the letters for it, but if it's hydrogen, where it mixes with water was the hottest point. And so if you lived here, you basically had to move up. And let's go to how I got there. So there was, should make it lighter for you guys. These are my nice little curtains. Bam. Okay. So above the surf, well, let's say if I were swimming, right? I'll give you guys some stick figures. Let's say the altitude to get to the surface was dope. I just closed my book. Hang in there. The surface of getting up there, let's say you came from Agartha, you're swimming down, and then you get to a point where it's so, you're basically trying to swim under a pyramid or underneath a palace, right? and you have to get back up, and you basically run out of air. So you basically die. So there were these interesting people that had different hairstyles. They were kind of muscular. They had like headgear. They were able to send these weird vines, and the vines don't laugh, people. Keep it together. Grow up. They had these different shells and coral, and there were other beings below that had longer hair. I'm a better artist than this, but I'm trying to just be quick today. They had like fins on their arms. They were muscular. They had legs, but they had kind of like Aquaman, isn't it? So they were able to communicate and say, you know, hey, you know, use that to breathe. And so here's me like, huh, what? Light bulb. And so when this covered the face, it had I know I remembered everything from this dream, you guys. So it was basically like you were able to breathe from the surface because this type of organism, or you know, if it was an organism or if it was a vine or plant, whatever it was, you're able to breathe. Let's put my earrings in there. Yeah. So then I was able to get back to the surface, and when I came up to the surface, that's what I saw. It was like dun 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 dun. And I don't know what time, year period it was, but I just remembered because the surface of the water was rising more and more and more by the years. They had a lot of time to prepare, and let's see if this was the palace. I remember seeing the big giant wings, and then there was the obelisk on top, like so. That's what I remember seeing. And so there I was being greeted by several people who were expecting me to be there. But these people were kind of interesting because they had the longest ponytails. There was two races. There were let's just go censored. So we had they had male and female parts at the same time. So there was I don't want to say hermaphrodite, but that's what I saw. Or what do you call them? I forget what you call them. Those kind of people. And then there was only female as well. Let's just do censored. Remix. And the women had the hair out. So you had a race of people who had long hair and ponytail with two parts. Hey. So that was pretty cool that that was my regression. And a lot of times I didn't believe past lives exist because I was trying to think, how is that possible? How do people remember? But through DNA, through the cells of the body, information can be passed along. Technology is trying to figure that out, and technology knows how to take consciousness from one person and put it to another person. This is how some celebrities have doppelgangers. That's all I'm going to say. Um, Another thing about the body, this will be part 2 of my video. Um, some of us are getting here, and because when you allow yourself to see the things in the sky, when you're using discernment to let's say if there's like the clouds, right? What I was showing earlier today in the video, but then you saw the craft in beneath, but then because the sun was here, we're able to see the what comes off of the ships, which is that rainbow. That it's almost like when you have the diamond or the prism as the sun source hitting its own source, you get a refragment of source. So you'll see like this is what I got from the video that I was watching. If you guys remember the sunroof, if you see my last video I posted, in my sunroof, I was pointing to this little rainbow thing, but then there was another one on the side of it. That's when you have a refragment of the same source, when two things are shining at each other. Anyways, access to the immortal body is when you're able to see beyond these things. That is like, not everyone has that gift. Some are being open to it, but it's really about your consciousness and the pineal gland. And the more you can decalcify your pineal gland, calcification means, in my opinion, calcification. Here's your brain, there's the pineal gland. And that's what they call the third eye, if you didn't know that. Because you have two eyes in your mouth. But seeing things beyond what they really are and registering it and knowing what it is in the subconscious mind, because the conscious mind is outside of the subconscious. It's allowing you to evolve the DNA in your body and allowing and accepting these things naturally, or when you're seeing these things in the sky, they are hitting one main organ or gland, sorry, and that gland is going through your whole body. The reason why I can tell, it's kind of gross, but I can tell that this is a process because in my armpit I have a swollen gland. Where are you? A little nasty. Right there. I have a gland that's swollen, and I'm not like ill of any sort because I just got my blood test from the doctor. I just got my results, and I can tell that it's going from the gland throughout the whole body, which is why I'm kind of sniffly right now, because when a free radical enters the body, the body tries to flush out whatever it thinks it has. So runny nose. These are symptoms you guys are feeling now. Being very cold when it's cold, when it's not that cold, or getting really hot too fast, and then you try to cool yourself down and it gets too cold too fast. Achy bones, really achy bones. Like my knees hurt really bad. My ankles hurt really bad, and my feet feel like concrete blocks. So It's not because I've been dancing too much, it's because of these body changes and the ascension process. Um, it has a process, it doesn't really complete because we're moving into the sixth root race. And being a root race means that our bodies are adapting to environment, it's adapting to conditions, it's adapting to weather, and it's trying to learn how to adjust and deal with it. Um, which is cool because if you were to take your body and go back in time, it's probably much more stronger than it is now. Like you now will be stronger in a past year. It's so hard to explain this stuff, but I just wanted to let you guys know that those were the words that I had from this dream regression that I had, was that you all will be able to access the immortal body, but you have to act from the pureness of your heart, constantly forgive, constantly build bridges in conversation and dialogue, living without judgment, not criticizing others, which is hard. This is why a lot of things in media, television, and politics are trying to continuously have you criticize and agitate, and they don't want us to access the secret. And I'm telling you guys the secret. So as long as you can withstand from putting judgment and oppressing others, your body is constantly expanding, and it's a process that can't stop 144,000 people from doing this, because we're all over the place. We're scattered all over. It cannot detect and track who is who. That's why there's no. Some people might think they are the 144,000, and some may not know that they are. That's the whole point of this whole thing, is like no one really knows who, but you can feel that there is a presence of, or there is a belonging to, or Anyways, I want to show you guys one more thing before I go. Don't judge me. Some of you have a Sonics, right? I went there today and I binge ate, but I wanted to show you guys the numbers that I got on my receipt. So, I don't want y'all to see what I ordered. So, I wish I could do the math of check number, but you see how I'm getting repeated numbers? 328285. So I was getting a repeat of numbers. Let me see if I can add that really quick. 32825, right? 328285. So yeah, 13 and 12, right? 8, 13, 15. Wait. Yeah, 13 and 15. Yeah. 13 and 15. You have 28 and 10. Remember, I said in a video, oh jeez, I think it was yesterday. Didn't I say 10? I could have swear I said, you guys remember 10. And then this was another number this is how I knew I was on track with what I said today. 1441. And this was, oh man, I want to go back in time, but a year ago, this day, it was the 9th of March. Is it the 9th? It was a year ago from today that I was in this area, and I was homeless, okay? It was my fault. Like, I had a neighbor who disturbed me and harassing me, and I just didn't want to punch him out and go to jail. So I put everything in my trunk of my car because I didn't have a lot of stuff. I lived in like this little trailer, and I just packed my stuff and I left. I took off. I wanted to practice detachment, and I wanted to prove to the powers that be, that are powers that be, that I'm willing to let go. I don't need to hold on to. No, so when I stepped out and left, I went on this huge journey. But from October of 2017 into March 2018, I was staying at hotels and I was homeless. It was cool. I was a gypsy. I was eating. I was working full time, so I was able to eat whatever I want, go wherever I want, park the car, in safe areas. And some days I was in the car, some days I was in the hotel. But there was a hotel. I wish I can show you guys where it was, but the address was 1441 Beach Boulevard, and that was in room 144. I think if I can find the video, you guys, I'll put it in the description box below, because I actually remember showing the receipt to the camera just as proof. And what's fascinating is I look at the address here, and it is, I'll get it together, 17811 Beach Boulevard. Life is weird. Anyway, that's all, everybody. Take care. I'll talk to you later.